Hi, my name is Joe Sandoval. I'm running for City Council in Commerce City for the at-large position. The reason I'm running for council is I grew up in Commerce City. This is my community. I graduated from Adams City High School in 1989 and have made this my home. When I wanted to get into public service, I wanted to become a police officer, and the only city I would settle for working is Commerce City. So in 1993, I did get hired as a police officer and served this community for 16 years as a police officer, eventually making the rank of sergeant. Throughout that time, my career was always focused on community-based programs. I was a school resource officer working with your kids, a community resource officer working for the businesses, with the businesses, and with the citizens in general. I then became the coordinator for the Citizens Police Academy. I was an Explorer Post advisor, eventually became a field training sergeant and the public information officer for Commerce City. So I'm very well aware of what goes on in city government. My dedication to this community has never faltered. I've wanted to be here my entire life and to serve you in this capacity, now after having served you for 16 years as a police officer, wanting to now serve you as your council member. I received my master's degree in public administration with an emphasis in local government from the University of Colorado at Denver. I believe with my education and my experience working for this city makes me a viable candidate. While I was a city employee, I could not be involved in any city commissions or boards. So I was limited in how much involvement I could have with the government. So I took advantage of the fact of working with City Council on a lot of police department related issues, as well as working with other city department members, trying to come up with different ideas to help and benefit the community. And then another part of why I want to run for City Council is that I have experience in elected positions. I was on two law enforcement related elected positions, one being on the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge number 19, which is Commerce City Police Department's lodge. I was a secretary on that board for over 4 years. And then I was elected to two separate terms as secretary and treasurer of the Law Enforcement Explorer Post Advisors Association of Colorado. I believe with that experience, my education makes me a viable candidate that will have your concerns, your thoughts, your emotions at the forefront, not mine. I think most of our opportunities lie in our economic development and growth. Just recently, which came to fruition just a couple weeks ago, was the purchase of the dog track property. I was fortunate enough to attend a meeting the other night with several members of the community that want to have a say in how that property is redeveloped. So seeing their passion, their dedication to this community was very inspiring to me, being part of that process. And that's what we need to do, is keep people in the process of having a say of what goes on in their community. So that's probably the biggest opportunity right now. The second opportunity is the King Soopers that is breaking ground on 104th. Not only is that going to bring jobs to our community, but that's going to bring in other types of retail, sit-down restaurants. That 104th corridor is just going to explode with growth, which is needed to keep our dollars, our tax dollars, in our community so we don't have to go outside of Commerce City for our needs. And I think the third biggest opportunity we have is forging alliances and partnerships with the private sector and the nonprofit sector. We recently just did that with the Boys and Girls Club, and that's something that we could do throughout the entire community. We can't do it all alone as a government entity. We need to rely on the private sector. We need to rely on the nonprofits. And I think the biggest opportunity is for Commerce City to continue forging those relationships to make us a community to be extremely proud of. I believe the three biggest challenges facing the city right now are the economy in general, education, and transportation. Talking about the economy, we may be in a good state of affairs. We recently saw reports of how well Commerce City is doing with having more reserves than what's required by law, but we need to be smart about this. As we attempt to grapple with any financial stress, we need to be innovative. We need to look at strategically restructuring government. We need to look at how we deliver systems throughout the community. And we need to look at other ways of raising revenue that does not impact our citizens. The other challenge is education. We are working with two school districts in Commerce City, and both of them are struggling financially. We need to make sure that we as a city are partnering with those school districts to make sure that they're getting the funding they need, helping them find the financial resources to make sure that our kids are taken care of and getting the best education. Education is so important to us, and as a city, we need to make sure, although those are two special districts, we need to work with all special districts within the city, specifically the school districts, to make sure that our children are taken care of. And last, transportation. Good transportation, good connections are the Lexus of any strong community. And we need to make sure that we are going to work with the Regional Transportation District to make sure that Fast Tracks becomes a reality through Commerce City. We need to make sure that we are taking care of our roadways and all other corridors to make sure that it is easy to get around the city. Transportation is key to making sure that we connect with the rest of the metro area. A quality community for a lifetime, really simplistically put, means people should be able to enjoy where they live and work. We need to make sure that we are providing the services to the community that will keep them here, that they will be proud and happy and enjoy where they live. Those services can come in the form of retail, restaurants, the roadways, things of that nature. But we also, recreation is a big one. We need to make sure that those services are being provided for people to enjoy themselves. But the second part of that is making sure that our zoning and code ordinances are being applied fair and consistently, that we're making sure that they are meant to enhance the image of the city and not meant to burden people. The last part of that, again, comes back to our kids and education. We need to make sure that we're in a community where our kids are getting the best education possible, and as a city, we need to make sure that we work with those school districts. Like the old cliche goes, the kids are our future, so we need to make sure we're giving them every resource available to give them the best education. My overall favorite aspect of the city is the diversity of it. When I grew up here, we did not go past 80th Avenue. When I became a cop in 1993, we did not go north of 88th Avenue. But now we are going all the way to 128th. We're going so far out east. This community is so diverse. We have so many different cultures here. We have so many different socioeconomic levels. There is just so much going on. And the diversity of the businesses. We need to make sure that our economic development is diverse. We need to bring in a wide variety of different types of commerce, business, things of that nature, industry. But we need to continue with the continued growth, the growth that we've experienced. We just need to continue diversifying and embracing that diversity. And that is my favorite part about Commerce City.